Anders Schopp. Did I say that right?
Anders Schopp.
Anders Schopp. We're rolling. Thanks for being here, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Tell the world who you are and what you do and what you got going on and what you're working on.
Um, so I'm Anders Schopp. I am originally from Colorado, but I live here in Montana now. I came up here about 8 years for school, but I'm a fly fishing guide, hunting guide, and a photographer. I try to do a little bit of everything, honestly. That's kind of how it's been for the last like 5 years, and I really mostly just try to do what I love.
Did you graduate from MSU?
No, I did
Nice.
not. No, I didn't finish school.
But you went to MSU.
Yes,
Okay.
I did go to MSU.
All right.
Yeah.
And we just did a photo shoot for our Scout Guide ad that you took place in, which was sick.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. I'm super excited to actually see that like printed out,
Me too.
like in the guide.
Yeah.
Actually getting to kind of see my work be put on paper and like, come alive. It's cool.
Yeah, we'll plug in when it's posted and everything.
Oh yeah, no, that's awesome.
So how'd the photography journey start? We'll start there.
Photography kind of started with fishing for me. So like I was an avid fly fisherman when I came up here, as honestly probably most people are. And I started fishing with buddies, and I had this one buddy who had a little nicer camera, and like he took this photo of this fish I caught, and it was like in the dark at night, but like the flash, everything just about the photo was really cool. And I was like, man, I got to get a camera so I can start taking photos like that. I was still going to school at the time. And I went ahead and just like, I hopped on Best Buy and I found a package, just a pretty simple Nikon package with 2 lenses, and I was able to afford it. So, I got it and basically just started taking photos of everything, everywhere, really started enjoying it. Kind of realized I had a little bit of an eye for it so for a couple of years, it was just a hobby, for sure. And then, posting stuff on social media. And then I think when you start using your camera enough and start sharing your photos enough with people, you do get like, even just friends and family going, oh man, you're good with the camera. Like take this photo, take these photos. And then it just kind of slowly built from there. And I realized it was like the type of photography I really enjoyed the most was outdoors, first and foremost, anything hunting, anything fishing. And then also creating these really cool shots with like one thing very in focus, very, dramatic in some aspects, but also just kind of just shows off the details in it. And so that's where I kind of like started to lean into, okay, maybe my photography wants to be something for like marketing. And that's kind of the dream for me, is to do more marketing photography, stuff you can put in ads, something that makes whoever's looking at it go, that's cool.
Yeah.
And that's all I would like aspire to do.
It's so funny because I got goosebumps when you said that. I was literally thinking of you taking the pictures of the cups and the boots.
Oh yeah.
Like talk about that, because my fiance was freaking out about how excited she was about it.
Yeah, no, I mean, and that's the thing right there, is like, if you're in a moment, it's not necessarily all just about like, you go somewhere and everything is pretty. Like you're in Montana, everything is pretty up here. It's like, I talk to a lot of people on a daily basis, like when I'm guiding, and they're here and they're like, you just look around and, everything is gorgeous. Like you can't not take a bad picture, or you can't take a bad picture, whatever.
Yeah.
But anyways, like that's the truth about, the area. But the thing that I like to capture the most is kind of like you're saying, it's the small details. So those boots, the cups, like you might not think about that right off the bat, but those also kind of tell a story about what's going on, like bigger picture.
Yeah.
Like the small details also kind of show the big picture in a way, if that kind of makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, you just showed me that video, and we need to talk about your video work that you do. But you see the those Mountain Mule coffee cups that are sitting right there out of frame, but they're sitting on the table. The grass is blowing behind. Maybe you could see the logo on the bottom of the sole of my boot and all those little things.
Yeah.
I don't know what the hell that is, but it makes like all those little details make such a cool shot.
Yeah.
It looks so cinematic
And that's kind of the idea of it. And I think what it is the idea behind that shot is to pull your attention to that.
yeah.
So if I can basically like kind of hide everything else that, you know, is still pretty in the background. So like in that shot specifically, you've got the grass, you've got the mountains, the lighting in general, because we were shooting at like, you know, 8:30, which seems late, but it's like we have so much light and it's just like that perfect sunset type light.
Before we keep rolling with today's episodes, I want to tell you about someone who changed how we show up as a business. When clients land on our website, we hear the same thing over and over. It just feels right. Amy of Unbridled Form asked us questions we'd never thought to ask ourselves, helped us figure out the deeper identity underneath our services, and translated that into a brand world we're genuinely proud of. Our ongoing partnership is easily one of the best investments we've made. Learn more at unbridledform.com. Now back to the show.
All of that is super pretty kind of just surrounding it. But what's in focus is like those cups, the Mountain Mule logo on the cups, your boots. And I feel like that is a very, like what my brain thought was seeing the boots in that, very Montana.
Yeah. It's so weird. You look at it, you're like, I don't even know what that is, but I want it.
Right?
Like, where's the link?
Yeah,
So I
absolutely.
could buy it.
Yeah, that's the idea. That's all it is right there.
But how does that work? Do you have any idea why that is or what that is? Is it like something with the human mind or what it looks like?
I don't know if I've ever really like dove into the like
Psychology of it.
Yeah, exactly. But I just know I know it works. And I think you kind of I think it's like a learned, like I feel like as humans, like we see things, like social media is big on this. You see things that are like really cool, and also you realize, okay, everyone else also thinks that's cool, and it gets shared and it gets shared and it gets shared. So as a human, you start to see this more and more and more, and you start to realize, oh, that's kind of, there's something about that I like. I don't really understand it, but I like it. And whether it's just the composition of the light is easy on your eyes, your brain, maybe like in the hunting industry, your brain is kind of like, if you're an avid hunter, or you're an avid like fly fisherman, your brain is kind of tailored to that, like outdoors, harsh weather, you know, a lot of the details of like water, but also kind of rustic stuff. So you're going to be drawn to these photos of a product in that kind of scenario.
Yeah.
So like if you saw a fishing reel for sale, right, or just an ad for it, and that fishing reel is placed in action, somebody's peeling line off the reel, there's water spinning off of it and kind of shooting in all different directions, but that reel is super in focus. Everything else behind it can be blurred. You kind of understand the scenario it's in, but because that reel is now in focus, your brain is like, that's cool.
Yeah.
But there's an effect around it.
When I first moved out here, I guess it was like 7 years ago, and I'd get up on a mountaintop or something, and you look, and it's just like all comes over you, and you like your senses don't even know what to do.
Oh yeah,
because you're taking in like so much that you've never seen before. And I'm from the Northeast. We have mountains and hills, but not like here.
Mm.
And every time I take a picture, I'd be bummed out because I'm like, the picture does not do it any justice. But it is weird when you get a certain cinematic picture like that. It almost does, because I don't know. There's like a feeling with it. You're like, why does that make me want to go buy that or go hunting or?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I think I agree with you 100%. You know, photos never do things justice. I think just in general, like I'll never forget. I've got kind of like I was hunting with a buddy of mine, and we ended up like packing this bull out, and that's another story we could get into. But on the pack out, there was this moment of, we came out of the trees. it had just snowed on us, and then it completely cleared out, blue skies. I'm sure everyone, a lot of people listening have had that moment where it's like a storm and then sunshine, and you just have these cool clouds and light and stuff like that. My phone was dead. I couldn't take a picture of it. And I'm kind of glad, because I have that image like in my head. And if I had I taken a photo of it and that was the image that I kept going back to try to like, this is what it looked
Yeah,
like.
yeah.
That's not what it looked like. But taking photos of stuff and trying to make it look like that, like actually getting the right like perspective, that's what's like kind of fun to me. That's something that either you haven't seen that, like you haven't seen that perspective before. And I think that's kind of what gets most people like interested in a photo, is you haven't seen that perspective. So like you'll notice like there was a really big like trend at one point. Everyone took photos at an angle,
Oh, interesting.
right? I mean, did you ever see that? Like, pictures were posted and somebody, instead of taking a photo
Just
just
like
straight
this.
up and down, yeah, it's just like tilted.
Oh, interesting.
So it's not like perfectly. There was a certain, remember, and I think it was like when I was in high school, that like if you took a photo a little bit, like just slightly cantered, it was cool.
Yeah.
It's kind of like been tossed away, but it's because not everyone's walking around looking at it like this.
Yeah, I keep thinking I like grab those cups and hand them to me because I'm just gonna put them in the shot because it's funny because I keep
Oh yeah.
looking at them, but when they're in that shot,
Mm-hmm.
you never sit there and you never sit there and like pick that one thing and look at it. Everything else is kind of like it's there, but you're not really looking at it.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of what it's doing is it's like that lens is your eye, and if your eye just zooms in, everything else becomes a little bit blurry,
Yeah.
and it's
Yeah.
kind of like I don't know, it's like a gaze in the background, but it's not.
Oh
So
yeah.
it's very interesting the way that lens works exactly like your eye does.
Oh yeah, very much so. And and the other part of that too is like you're not, when are you going to be down on the ground looking through the grass at those cups?
Yeah. Because I told you after, I'm like, man, I don't know what a professional looks like, but you look like you knew what the hell you're doing because you're getting down low and you're just like moving over here, hang on, do this, do that. And like it was all those little nuances that I just saw it in the video just now, which is sick.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun, and that's what I enjoy. Is it's always like it's kind of a hunt in and of itself.
Yeah.
Like you're hunting for that different angle, that different view. So yeah, I'm constantly trying to get more creative shots. It's kind of feel like a painter might try to think of painting new things all the time. Like what can they come up with next that makes their artwork stand out or creative. Um, like all photographers are looking for that next scene, that next setting, the next effect that they can create with their camera. Some people really like, it's been happening a lot more recently, is like blurring your photos intentionally, but like a motion blur.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like someone running and everything else is like super motion blurred behind them, or they might even be kind of motion blurred, but part of them is still in focus. There's a lot of creative stuff like that you can do. And I think that's what I love the most about photography.
Yeah. It's kind of like you got to have the vision beforehand and then you got to go find that, like create it in the world.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
It's weird. I've never thought of photography as much of an art as until you're explaining it like this.
Yeah. And it is, I think it's just like, you just have to do it. You have to test things out constantly. And sometimes it just doesn't work. I've taken like so many photos and I'm like, oh man, this is gonna be so cool. I think I know how to do this. And then I do it and it's like, doesn't work.
Yeah.
Or I've taken photos, like I've been in a shoot with someone and I'm like, I'm gonna try something, just bear with me. Try it. And it's like I bring it home and I put it on the computer and I start looking at it. I'm like, nah, it didn't do what I wanted it to, but no harm in trying,
Yeah.
kind of thing.
And how about, so let's talk about your video work. I remember you showed me that you did who's that hunting company or was it an ammunition company you did some stuff for?
Yeah. So it was, I filmed a whitetail hunt for Barnes Ammunition. And that was this last fall. That was kind of my first big film, like full length film. It was like a 25-minute film. Um, and it was a lot of fun. It's cool to actually get to put something full length like that together. And that's kind of always been really my goal with photography and specifically videography. I've been doing photography for longer. I've been doing photography for like, I guess 7 years now. And videography has been like a shorter term, like maybe like 4 years, but it's all kind of like, I've, I've taken a lot of what I know with photography, transferred it into video, basically like getting the shot, but now it's moving. And you're doing that when you're filming a hunt, and it's just, but you have to be like super adaptive to like what's happening. But that's kind of, videography has definitely taken me like the last couple of years, like by like, that's what I want to do. And, yeah, I don't know. I'd like to do more like full length films,
Yeah.
stuff like that. Whether it's for, for companies just putting their products out in the world to the test kind of thing, something they can put up and show like, this is what we do. This is how we do it. Hunting is definitely where I am drawn to it the most. I think that's because as a hunting guide, I see so much cool stuff.
Yeah.
As a guide, you don't get as much of it on video. It's really cool when you do though. And that's kind of what I'd like to transition into a little bit more, is like just filming hunts more than guiding them.
Have you done any just filming hunts or no?
That whitetail hunt.
Okay.
Yeah, that whitetail hunt was a lot of fun. It was eastern Montana whitetail hunt, and it was a blast. It was semi-successful, but it's unfortunately not up on YouTube anymore.
Oh, bummer.
Yeah, it was a really weird deal. It was like up for 2 weeks, and then something else happened with some other videos, and they like YouTube. I feel like sometimes I don't know, weird things happen on social media and the web that stuff gets taken down.
Do you have rights to it, or do they have the rights to it?
They have the rights to it. I still have it. I can definitely like I have it as more so of just a portfolio thing. It's definitely not something I'm not putting it on my own like YouTube channel as public, but I have the rights to it to the point where like I could show it to somebody like as a, hey, this is what I do. So I could definitely like, I've got, and that was the biggest thing for me doing that hunt was I now have something to show.
Yeah.
That I can do. I can do that. And I felt great about it. It was a lot of fun to kind of learn the little nuances, in editing a full length like hunting film, and like understanding, a little more so the audio side of things, the transitions, how to transition your audio, how to transition just from, picture to picture kind of thing. And getting, just getting as creative with it as you can, but not overdoing it, because you don't want to take away from.
Yeah.
It's kind of like if you have a slideshow and you did all the little like crazy transitions when you were in 5th grade, and you had like the twirly transition, and then it was just like a picture. So.
Yeah, videos. I don't even know what you call it, but I'm really particular with videos and editing. A really good edited video with good music, I think, is second to none, because that's when you really get the emotion, because you hear the music and you hear the sound and you see it. And then I see like some podcasts and stuff when it's really overproduced. And it's weird. It's this weird juxtaposition, because I want, like, I barely edit anything in these. They're pretty much just run beginning to end. Unless there was a pause or someone took a bathroom break, I pretty much let it go. And I love that that's so, like, just so straightforward, and it's a real conversation. At the same time, like, when someone really knows what they're doing with video and audio and music, like, I could take it all day. So like, I love both, but like, you can tell when somebody's kind of tried too hard to produce something.
Yeah.
And it's a little bit different because they're kind of It's kind of produced in the sense that you're trying to like portray something that's not really happening in a conversation. But when there's a cool promo video or a hunt or anything, and there's the right commentary and the right music, like your adrenaline is in it. It's
Oh
sick.
yeah.
So
Yeah. It's all about, and actually I feel like there's more psychology behind like videography that kind of like makes you kind of like understand what keeps people's attention
mhm.
and stuff you can use a lot. And I like one of the biggest rules, and I remember I learned this in like my sophomore year of high school or something like that. It was in an English class, and I don't remember why we were going over this exactly, but it's something that has stuck with me.
Hi, folks. Quick note from me. If you don't already know, the goal of Mountain Mule is to build real connection between Montana's businesses and the people they serve. If this episode or any other has given you something worth thinking about, smiling at, passing along, I've got a small ask. Share it with a friend, text it to someone, consider following the show. Whether you're using our services directly or following and sharing the show, those simple actions help support this business as well as the businesses and guests that have been a part of the show. Thank you for supporting these Montana businesses, local jobs, and this beautiful state. Now back to the show.
The human brain loses focus after about 3 seconds.
Uh-huh.
The average, like that's the average, right? So I use that a lot when I'm like, if I'm creating little shorts on Instagram, which I have a lot of.
Mhm.
I have tons of shorts on Instagram, and that's what I've done most is kind of the cool, fast, edited videos where it's like keeps your attention going for about 15 seconds and then it's done. But those clips in there, unless it's a very, very cinematic like video that already just on its own keeps your attention, most of those clips that like if you went and looked at them, they end right around 3 seconds and go into the next one. They're like 1, 2, 3, boom, 1, 2, 3, boom. Like, and that's
Just for like a scene, pretty much.
yeah, exactly. Or and it's even like in that long film, I kept that in the back of my mind because it's like, if you 3 seconds is longer than you realize. Like sometimes I'm like, oh man, that was too like 3 seconds seems too short for a quick walking. Like if I'm gonna get a video of the hunters walking into wherever we're walking into, and like I'm gonna get it from a different angle, like and take this shot, and I'd film it for like 6 seconds, and then like 3 seconds of that video is all I use, and it's like might be like 3 steps, but it's like that's enough. And then it's like you don't want to watch somebody walking like for 5 minutes, or even 10 seconds. 10 seconds is like,
yeah, what are we doing here?
it's too long. Yeah. And so your brain will stay more engaged if that image changes a little bit faster.
Yeah, I mean that's like, isn't that like terms of hook essentially with any video? It's like it's got to hook somebody within 3 seconds, or
Exactly.
they're just gonna go to the next video.
Yeah. Oh, there
we're,
goes.
we're just pretty trained to
Swipe on through.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy, but that makes sense. So that how long you said that was 25 minutes?
Yeah.
But you were thinking of that. There was a lot of different times where,
Yeah.
and then I'd imagine at some point, somebody's kind of bought in enough that like, is that when you kind of will drag things out a little bit longer if there's the appropriate.
For sure. And like the times that it drags out a little longer is typically like, okay, it's the interviews. So like in that film, you have like the opening is like, pulling up to the campsite where we're camping. And then like a pretty quick introduction, like of like, hey, this is what we're doing. This is kind of where we are, kind of stuff. And then, but like over top of it at the same time, you're actually going to throw some other little like B-rolls of footage. And those little like just quick 3 second, like even while the person's talking, you throw it over their audio of like actually setting up the tent or like something like that.
Yeah.
For 3 seconds, that just keeps somebody like engaged because it's, oh, there's something what are they doing here? What are they doing there? And then like that's what I'm thinking about the whole time. Now, some portions are a little longer because it's like it's somebody talking, and so you might want to like actually see what they're doing.
Hmm.
But generally speaking, you're doing a lot of like switching from video to video to video, and like making it make sense with audio.
Yeah, with what they're saying, so
Yeah.
it's actually relevant.
Yep.
Yeah, because I guess there's the attention, the visual attention, and the audio
Hmm.
attention. Because if you say something, so interesting, you're gonna want to hear it.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
It's kind of a cliffhanger, either visually or in audio.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting to think. We talked about this because I should also plug you and thank you because you helped me get this camera set up because forever I used a webcam. But we were talking about that because ultimately this will be a multicam
Hmm.
and just the difference in switching. You talk, I talk, and the scene switches,
Yeah.
and it's much more stimulating than the same frame for however long.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. And for those who like to like
yeah,
watch podcasts more, like that's going to be a little more, yeah, like you said, 100% more like stimulating, like switching from person to person as they talk. And even if it's like, even if I'm still talking and it were to like switch back to you listening for a second and then back to me talking, like that's going to keep someone engaged. Like the next time you watch a video and you're like, man, that was like, I was like hooked that whole time.
hmm,
Go back and like count every time there's like a change, like a scene change,
yeah.
like count how many seconds each scene was. And I
Oh,
bet you
that's
it's like
interesting.
right around 3 seconds.
Yeah. Sometimes even to myself, the concept of watching a podcast sounds so dumb, but when I was younger, and I guess I still do it now and then, I would just put it on my TV in the house,
Hmm.
so it's just playing. But I've gotten to the point now where I'm like, where's the video? Because if it's somebody I don't know who they are. They're a
Yeah.
guest on a podcast. I want to see who this guy is, and when they're getting animated with their stories and everything, especially if they're intriguing with their story or the way they're talking, I'm like, I got to see this guy.
Oh,
So
yeah,
it is
absolutely.
very interesting, but the concept seems kind of funny too to think of just sitting there watching people talk.
Watching a couple people just have a conversation.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
guess I'm just like passively watching, but anyway,
Yeah, but you glance like, and that's the thing is like, if you put it up on your TV, you just glance at it like every now and then. You're like, when something exciting happens, it's like hard not to look.
yeah,
It's like you could like, I don't know, there's a lot of like there's a lot of sports that are that way. You
yeah,
can like put it on the background, and for the most part, you're doing something else. Like you're hanging out talking to somebody, and then all of a sudden you hear the TV, like the crowd goes crazy. You
mm.
like you have to look.
You just made me think of this, and I'll bring it up since we play baseball together, and that's how
Yeah.
we know each other
Yep.
originally. The New York Mets are my baseball team. They're the guys that commentate are Keith Hernandez, he was a first baseman with the Mets and the Cardinals, Ron Darling, and another guy, Gary Cohen. He
Hmm.
wasn't, I don't think he played professionally, but they've been doing it for 20 years. And it is so entertaining. They're almost rarely talking about baseball.
Yeah.
They're talking about like what they had for dinner and how they like their hot dogs.
Yeah.
And then they'll tell stories of when they were on the 86 Mets that won the World Series.
Yeah.
And there's something to that too, of how you're watching the game and the game's interesting, but there's like it's so funny that's like, but it's just funny. Like my fiance knows their names and she's not even into baseball, but it's like you just hear them, the stuff they're talking about. Like, what are they talking about? They're talking
Yeah.
about cars. They're talking about like, it's so funny.
But they keep people like interested, like they keep people just interested in like the whole like the show in general.
Yeah.
That's entertainment.
Yeah. Even when I'm listening to the baseball games, I'll want to play their broadcast, which they're on the TV broadcast
Hmm.
in my truck because I just want to hear them because
Oh yeah.
it's like it's amusing. But I've also, I guess they've been doing it since I was, let's get my math right, like 15.
Uh-huh.
So that's a long time. Like I've been like since I was essentially a teenager growing up, I've been hearing these guys, and it's so funny.
Yeah, that's cool. I mean, it's interesting to like, I don't know, I don't like to have that kind of personality to just kind of like keep people entertained for
Yeah.
like, um, I mean, hours on end. Like, I mean, baseball games take forever
Yeah.
sometimes.
And
So
they
it's like,
joke, they're like, we're just the fillers. We just fill time. That's our job.
oh yeah,
And it's kind of funny.
yeah, that's good stuff.
If somebody called you today And well, let's say two people called you and one said, "Hey, I want you to come guide this elk hunt," and one said, "I want you to come film this elk hunt." Which one would you want to do?
Man, that is
And it's a trophy zone, it's archery, and there's big herds hanging out.
you know what? I truly honestly think that I would rather film it. I
Mm.
think it would be super fun to just kind of be able to kind of sit back and watch somebody else kind of do it. Um, and I'm saying that like this last year, like as an elk guide, like this last year was my first year. I did get to guide in Wyoming and kind of a more of a like a trophy unit. Like we were looking for like 340 plus bulls, and it was great as a guide. It was stressful.
Mm.
Like you have to really understand like what your client is looking for, what your hunter's like, what he wants. And you have to, I mean, you have to know like what a big elk looks like. And like a lot of the years I've guided elk, it's been like over the counter public land hunts in Colorado. And in a lot of those units down there, it's like you're not waiting for that big elk.
The
Like if
two the two by twos going down.
dude, yeah, if it's got a 5 inch brow tine,
Mm.
it's going down. If it's got 4 on this side and 2 on this side, it's going down. Like so to step into like a trophy elk hunt, I mean, you have to be on it, like really understand, like, because there is a pretty big difference between a 300-inch bull, which for a lot of people, I mean, a 280-inch bull is a really nice bull. A 300-inch bull for a lot of people is a big, big bull. When you look at like what a 340 to 350 bull is, that's like
Looks
it
like
not
a
like
genetic freak.
it's crazy.
Yeah.
And then you think about like people who like shoot like 380 to 400-inch bulls. And it's like just kind of having actually an understanding of like what that looks like if you haven't, and a lot of people don't see those. Like there's a lot of people who say they've seen those, but a lot of people haven't seen those. Like I've never seen a bull. I've never laid eyes on a bull long enough. Like I've caught glimpses of some really big bulls, but I can't say after like that last hunt, that was like the first time I feel like I really truly in person got a really good look at what a 340-inch bull looks like. And we didn't lay our hands on it, but like that stress, to just kind of get back to the question, sorry. That stress was like it was up there. So to kind of more so be in that back seat as a cameraman and be just getting like the cool shots of these big bulls, or have the potential to like capture the actual like kill shot and stuff, it would be so much fun. Now, don't get me wrong, that's stressful also. Like
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and as a camera guy, like you're gonna mess up. I've definitely messed up a couple times, missed some stuff, and it sucks. I like it almost feels like it doesn't feel quite as bad because you didn't actually like shoot an animal, but it almost feels as bad as like just missing the shot, like an actual like with a rifle or a bow on a really big animal. Like you just miss that moment. Like if you don't get the shot, and especially if they kill it, you don't have the chance to do that again. So there's a lot of stress there, but I think being able to like as a cameraman just kind of be there and have your focus kind of on like really just telling a story about what's happening and what's going on. I think I would do that probably 8 times out of 10.
Not to bring baseball back again, but this was just making me think. It kind of reminds me of men's league.
Mm-hmm.
It's it's so much fun and it's so much less pressure.
Oh yeah,
And there's still the pressure to do well.
yeah,
Like you obviously, I think we all want to do well. Like
yep,
at least any of us that are adult men still playing hardball,
yeah,
and like I think we just like doing well and want to win. But the difference in that, and when you're young and you're playing in high school and you think you want to be a pro, and like that pressure you put on yourself is so much. But I've enjoyed baseball the most as an adult.
Yeah.
because there's no like I'm just doing it for the fun of it.
Yeah. You just
Uh,
enjoy being out there.
so I'd imagine there'd be a little bit of relief in that sense of you got to get the shot of it, but like the guides really got to like
Make sure
in
that,
theory come
yeah.
through.
Yeah. And I guess it really depends. Cause there's, I don't know, I like, as I was kind of talking through that, I was kind of like, well, actually, I mean, like when you think about it as a camera guy, like it really depends on like, are you being like, what are you filming for?
Yeah.
You know, is it just somebody like, if you're just kind of filming for fun, you know, and you're just kind of like, oh, like I want to try to film this hunt and like, but if you're getting like paid by a company to film a hunt that's supposed to be like released and basically like they have to have like the kill shots on camera.
Mm-hmm.
Like otherwise like the film is kind of moot.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah. Maybe it's even more stressful in this.
it kind of is because I guess I mean to think about it, there's really kind of like more stuff that could go wrong because you're stressed as a camera guy for one, like you don't want to mess up the hunt, but you also you have to be in charge and like say like, dude, you can't kill that animal unless I'm filming it.
Yeah.
Like as much as you want to like kill that animal, if I'm not in a position where I can see it, you're not allowed to shoot it.
I know what a pain in the ass that must be.
Oh, dude, that was that like that's a lesson I've kind of learned the hard way a little bit. I was definitely like the first couple times I've tried to film hunts for people. I kind of tried to just like ride along and like take the back seat and just film whatever was going on. Um, and now I'm like, I have a really, and that film, that full length film I did for Barnes, I was still a little bit in the back seat. I was still a little bit like, I'm just going to capture what's going on. But I started to like, I learned in that aspect, you have to break out of your kind of like shell. I'm not necessarily like a crazy outgoing person. I like to talk to people.
You have to be like, no, like,
Yeah,
stop. You're not doing this.
yeah,
Like, I don't
absolutely.
care. This is your once in a lifetime bull, and you cannot shoot it right now.
Exactly. Like if, I mean, and most cases, like if it's a scenario like that, it's probably okay if you don't get the perfect kill shot. You can kind of like, as a videographer, you can make things work.
Mm.
Like you can go ahead and like do an interview shortly after and like, oh man, this happened so fast. Like we couldn't even get the camera around, but this is what happened. Like you can recover from that kind of stuff. It's definitely possible. But like if you're doing it and it's not necessarily like a big time like trophy hunt where you have to like the big time trophy hunt, you probably don't necessarily like have to get the kill shot. Like you want to, everyone wants to, and you should try as hard as you can to make sure you get that kill shot. But it's more so the other hunts where it's like, it might be a general tag over the counter. You're going out and the main purpose is to get the kill shot, like to film, like, especially, okay. For example, the film I did, it's a ammunition company.
Yeah.
Barnes bullets.
Yeah.
People want to see a bullet hit an animal, like hit a deer, you know. That's why like that, like so getting the kill shots and that kind of stuff is like super important. So that's where it's like as a camera guy, you gotta be like, put your foot down. It's too dark. Like we shouldn't be shooting this. And I didn't necessarily do a great job of putting my foot down on that one. Killed the deer. We killed the deer. It's on camera.
Yeah.
The video is not necessarily like, it's dark. Like, and people don't realize, like some people don't realize cameras don't pick up light the way that our eyes do.
Oh, I realized it just when we set this stupid thing up because I was like, let me just go back to that webcam because I like can't even comprehend why the room looks one way and everything looks totally different in the camera.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just so weird to like think about that. And especially with like how light it is and how dark it is. Like, and cameras can only go so far before it then starts to kind of deteriorate the video and it looks kind of meh, like not as crystal clear as you want it to. So like if you're shooting an animal and like you have like your full at least like 30 minutes of light left, most in a lot of cases, like you're not shooting anything in that last 30 minutes of light if you're trying to film it. There's definitely a lot of cameras now that like they've progressed so far that you can do a lot more like later into the evening. But as a general rule, like that last 30 minutes is like, it's gonna be a no.
Yeah.
Like you can't shoot that animal because I can't see it in the camera
I
kind of
remember
thing.
plenty of those hunting shows and films growing up, and it's like, it just looks dark out.
Yeah.
And I just assumed, oh, they're basically hunting after sundown.
Oh yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I talked to, the guy I actually, who, owns West Elk Outfitters, down in Colorado, Jared Cotton, he's awesome. And he used to actually like, he's done the same thing where he started guiding. Gosh, he was, he was definitely like in his younger teen years when he
Mhm.
started guiding people. And he's seen a lot, and he is now like at one point he did do some like camera work with some of those like hunting shows and stuff like that. I can't remember exactly who it was. But I was talking to him about it one day, and he was like, yeah, man, like we literally like had a strict cutoff of this time. Like we don't hunt until it's like we don't shoot anything until it's this light out in the morning, and we don't shoot anything after this time at night. And that was it. Like it was the hunt started and the hunt was over at that time. And it was never like that. Like it was always like before that last like 30 to even 45 minutes before dark.
Yeah, and you probably got to lay those ground rules down because a lot of hunters know those are like can be
That's
prime
prime
times.
time. Yeah. That's so many animals get shot right at dawn
Mm-hmm.
and right at dusk.
Yeah, I mean that's why they're big and old because they move. They're almost they're virtually nocturnal.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, absolutely. No, they're smart. Yeah, no, I mean, I would definitely probably go, film a hunt for sure. I'd like to do that a lot more. If anybody out there is,
I feel like this is the next, the next level. If you whether you hire a guide or you're competent enough to go on your own,
mhm,
it's bring a camera guy
yeah,
because then you can tell a story and you can have a story for your whole life.
exactly. Like I know, there's guys I know that like, they were hired by somebody who like hunts, fishes all the time. They're somebody who's like kind of, lucky enough, they've worked hard enough, they've gotten to a point that they can hunt and fish all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And they wanted to be able to kind of like share those stories or have those stories recorded. Um, and so they like basically traveled around with them everywhere and, filmed hunts, filmed fishing trips. Um, and that's just for like, not even for like YouTube or not even for Instagram, not for social media. It's literally just so like you now have a video of something you did that was really cool.
Yeah, they're probably like watching films like sports teams do. Like they're doing research so they know what to do next time and what not to do. And
Yeah, absolutely. Or it's even just something like, I don't know, when I'm old and, crippled because of how much I probably beat the heck out of myself right now. Um, like I can take that video and like, show like, grandkids or, the young whippersnappers, like
yeah, yeah,
those young whippersnappers, the videos of how cool I was.
that's
Like
an
you
OG.
got
That's an
nothing on
OG
me.
term, whippersnappers.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you're 95 though, and
Yeah.
watch yourself when you're 42 or
Yeah.
in your 30s, and you're just
Brings a little tear to your
yeah
eye.
getting
Yeah.
after it.
Yeah, exactly.
You're really selling the experience.
That's it. That's what it is.
When you did the Barnes video, were you the only guy filming?
I was. Yeah. Yeah. So I was essentially the only guy filming. Like we kind of threw I don't know, we threw the GoPro around a little bit, but like on like the two hunters. But there wasn't really necessarily a lot of that.
Mm.
So I was like the only guy filming. I had a camera, two cameras really, if you kind of include some of the like kind of the smaller, like I use this little pocket gimbal that like does great, shoots like really great video for how simple and easy it is like in hand, especially when you're doing like walking shots and like fast motion stuff. But yeah, no, it was just me. So it was fun. I mean, it was cool. I just had to be like kind of glued to their hip every now and then.
Hmm.
But then it was like also like while we're doing it, you got to kind of try to feel out like you have to know in your head like, okay, could something happen right now? And it's like because hunting's unpredictable sometimes. I'm sure like how unpredictable it can be. Like you walk up on this spot and you didn't really expect to necessarily see anything, and all of a sudden, oh, deer just popped out 20 yards in front of me, and that's a good one, and we better try to shoot it.
Yeah.
Now that doesn't work super well when your camera guy is about 100 yards that way getting this super cool cinematic shot of you two walking along the ridge. Now, there's ways around that where you kind of pick and choose, like, okay, we need to go do this at a different time when we're not hunting and get the B-roll stuff. So that way, when we are hunting, like I'm just right there getting everything in the moment. Um,
Like when the truck's like right there out of frame and they're just,
yeah,
yeah.
exactly. So you have to kind of like have a good understanding of like when can things happen and when are they unlikely to happen. So you can kind of decide, okay, now's a good time for me to just get like a little B-roll video of the sage being like blown in the wind or something like that, or the river, or the sunset, or the sunrise. And you, I think one of the things that helps me, that has helped me like figure that out is that is being a hunting guide, being an avid hunter. Behind the camera, I have a really good understanding of what the hunt's going to look like. I don't like, obviously nobody is like, I can't predict, we're going to shoot a deer today, like, and it's going to be at this time, but like, I can say, like, okay, we're going to be walking in. I know what tomorrow's hunt's going to look like. We have to walk in about a mile till we really get to the spot where we've been seeing deer. On the way in, I'm going to take a video of you from the truck. I'm going to maybe run ahead of you a little bit because I know that like the stuff ahead of us, we don't really plan on seeing anything. Um, and if we see something like kind of bummer,
Hmm.
but I got to get some of these shots. So I'm going to take some video like as we're walking in, get that kind of stuff. And then it's like, as you kind of get into the zone of like, okay, here's where things can happen, especially right at that kind of like first light, that dawn dusk when they're active, you transition from I'm being creative to I'm just videoing like what's going on right now, trying to get as much footage as I can of like what's happening. And then like, okay, middle of the day, you have a lull. Like most hunters kind of like some hunters take a nap in the middle of the day,
Hmm.
like when it's too hot. So like during that time frame, I know, okay, I can get some of these shots during that time frame. And then you kind of start getting into a point in the evening where it's like, oh, well, stuff might start happening here. I need to kind of start being more with the hunter, with whatever like we're looking at. So that way, like I have like one of my favorite shots from that deer hunt was this whitetail buck came running out. We were sitting on this knob and we had walked across this hillside and we got up on this knob and we are looking at these whitetail kind of down in this flat. And none of them were really like very mature bucks. So we were kind of like, no, we're not going to shoot those. And they were pretty far out there. Um, and then like all of a sudden, like when we just completely least expected it, I have the camera set up with essentially it is it's a 200 to 400 millimeter lens, but it has a 2x converter on it. So it's like I'm essentially shooting with like an 800 millimeter lens and super zoomed in. I don't know if you've ever like zoomed in on something and tried to hold it steady. Hard to do. So it's on the tripod. Um, and then the next hard step is like trying to find something that's close with that zoomed in so far.
Hmm.
That's a challenge in and of itself. But I'm shooting these deer way out there. I'm like filming them and stuff. I actually had a second camera set up, kind of getting like hunters that like looking down the gun and stuff like that. And then all of a sudden, this nice whitetail buck just darts out of the hillside to our right, maybe not even 100 yards, and runs down into like the flats, like reeds. And I panned, got it perfect, like he perfectly centered in frame, focused, like in a matter of that.
Was
And
that
then
was that a shooter or no?
Oh, he was a shooter for sure.
Were they not ready?
They weren't quite ready. It happened so fast. He ended up darting, into the trees too quick. But I have this like great footage of him,
Hmm.
like awesome footage of him. And that was like one of my moments of like super proud of it. Like had, we been a little more kind of prepared, but it was like I felt like I was like in a sudden moment, I was able to get the camera on something.
Yeah.
And that was kind of like a cool like being ready when things can happen at any time, kind of like. And that was one of those time frames where I was like, okay, just ready for anything because anything can happen.
Yeah, it's a lot to think about. You said they did harvest something on that hunt or no?
They did. We ended up shooting a mule deer. The two guys, one of them he had never really shot like a real nice like whitetail before, so like that was kind of the goal of the hunt. But the other guy I was with, had he had a mule deer tag, and he kind of had intended, like, I mean, he had a general Montana deer tag, and he was like, if I see a mule deer that's decent, I'm probably going to shoot it,
Hmm.
because the other guy, he's from Utah and he shoots plenty of nice mule deer or sees plenty of nice mule deer. Um, so, on one of the kind of evenings, we ended up seeing a pretty nice mule deer buck come out, and it was like just right last like probably 10 minutes of light, and it was kind of a scurry hurry try to get into a position we could see him. He was feeding out on this field, um, and and he shot him, um, and it was on film.
Was there in this? So if you're hired to do this, was this a point where you like felt like if you look back, you should have said, "Hey, it's too dark to do that," or was the priority more of them feeling a tag?
I think in that moment, um, I think in the future, if I was more worried about getting the kill shot, I like if I was in a scenario of getting a kill shot, I definitely should have. I probably should have been like, "Hey, dude, I can't. Like, this is not a good shot." Like,
Yeah.
it worked out. Like post, you know, editing and stuff like that. Like computers can do some pretty magical things. It's definitely still like kind of a grainy video because of how much extra light I kind of have to add, and it's kind of a little hard to see still, but you can definitely see it, and it kind of really kind of shows like just how last minute light wise it was. Like the video, honestly, kind of looks like it's a little bit on the line, but it definitely wasn't.
Yeah.
Like, so um, I probably like looking back, I probably should have been like, yeah, don't I can't see anything. Like I cannot see that well enough. It's not going to be a good video. Um, I think because it was a mule deer that we were shooting,
Hmm.
and the kind of intentions of the video was a whitetail, I think that kind of made it a little bit of a okay. Like,
Yeah, I guess that's just the pre-hunt conversation.
yeah,
Depending on who hired you, is what's the priority here? Do you
yeah,
want to fill a tag or do you want top tier video?
yeah,
And then like here's the guidelines if we're doing that.
yeah. And that's exactly like if somebody came to me and they were going to ask me like, hey, will you come film this hunt? When we go into it, and I mean, I'm going to say yes. I'm very like that. I want to do more of them. Um, when we go into it, I'm going to ask like, hey, what's the purpose of filming this? Is this like, um, is the filming portion of it more important to you than harvesting something? Because like one of the things that, Dale has told me is like, and he's mentioned this many times, cameras save a lot of animals' lives.
This makes a lot of sense. I was thinking this the whole time as I don't have a lot of experience hunting out here, but where I hunted in the Northeast, I never had to worry about other hunters
Mm-hmm.
because I was so fortunate to grow up on a farm where we hunted and
Oh, nice.
thinking of the next, oh, this is a totally different dynamic. You add in hunters and you're trying to figure out if that's an elk bugling or if that's a hunter bugling. And you add in that dynamic and then you add in a cameraman.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, you don't need many more variables, especially in archery hunting.
Oh yeah, no, I mean, we've like hunting is hard. Like it's not just go out and like, I mean, some hunting is reasonably easy, kind of, in certain scenarios. Like, you got a lot of elk that just come down into your field at night and you're just looking for a cow to fill
Mhm.
the freezer. Um, but I mean, even that stuff can go wrong, like just hunting alone. So, like, you add in, like you said, that variable of now you have this, like, say you're hunting with a buddy, like, they say you and I are hunting and we've been hunting for forever. Like, there's two people out in the woods that are trying to be quiet and trying to get in close to these elk. Say we're archery hunting very close, like 40 yards or less. You know, now you add a third person who, when it's just two of you, one of you is going to sit back and he's going to call. Like, I'm calling, you're up front. Now add a third person right behind you that you don't know, like, oh, well, what if that camera guy steps on a stick? Or what if he moves the camera like just too fast to like try to get the elk in frame? Or for one, you're actually more worried about the film and you want that kill shot to the point of if he doesn't have it in frame, you're not shooting that animal. And that happens. Like, I mean, it's because, like you're hunting elk in the rut, like in archery, like you're in thick stuff a lot. And it's like you might be able to see that elk right here, but your camera guy is standing a step to your right and there's a tree there, you know? So it's
Yeah.
like at that point, the camera just saved that out. Everything else would have been perfect. You would have killed that elk, like had that camera not been there.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. It's kind of crazy.
Do you guys have any? Do you guys ever have situations where you have comms? I mean, like, or is the cameraman pretty much always right on the guy shooting?
Generally speaking, the cameraman should be with the hunter, like
Uh-huh.
right on him with him. Um,
And then did these guys have mics on them?
we didn't have a setup. We didn't have any setup quite like that. That's something that I'd like to do a little more in some of my hunts is actually
Hmm.
get like a mic on them. Now doing that sometimes like that's kind of that's that like next level of film in some cases.
Hmm.
Where like I would say that's like audio is what makes like good audio is what makes a film like top tier,
Yeah.
right? You can have really cool shots, but then like you get to the portion where someone's talking or or something like that, or the only times that they're talking and you can really hear them are like when they are talking at the camera. But I feel like nothing is cooler than like listening to a guy like with a mic on him and like being right up next to that elk and he's kind of talking maybe to the cameraman saying, hey, can you see him, or he's maybe even talking to himself a little bit, and
Yeah.
it's more emotion. It's more like you're in it. If you are watching a video that's like that, you just feel way more like in that. There's a lot of complications with those little wireless mics sometimes. I mean, sometimes they cut out, sometimes they don't work. You just got to find the right ones that are like good for it. But definitely want to do more of that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I was thinking you'd probably get some good humor and just who knows, but yeah, you'd get the like you're almost feeling the experience of what that hunter was going through.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And like if you're a hunter, like you kind of know like if you like I think one of my favorite things when I watch like archery elk hunts and like it's not like ragging on anybody like or anything like when you're getting ready to shoot a bull or just an elk in general, your nerves are high. Like you're like as a guide, if I'm like honestly, even when I'm calling from so many yards back, I get so amped every time I'm shaking.
Hmm.
Like, and it doesn't matter if I'm the hunter or the guide. I mean, I am shaking. My favorite thing is if you have audio right there with the hunter and you hear that tick, 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 tick,
Oh,
tick,
the
from the
arrow.
arrow,
That's so
like, yeah,
funny.
like quivering on the rest or something like that. I think that's so funny, but it's so real. It's so real.
I was just talking with this guy that he's actually he did the podcast a few weeks ago, and he's a somatic therapist, and he was like explaining what he does, and it's all about what you feel in your body. He's like, I'm sitting here, I just met you like 15 minutes ago, so my heart's beating a little bit. I know we're on camera, I know we're recording. I was like, yeah, man, you're really reminding me of hunting right now, because I remember sitting in a tree stand. I'm 13 or 14 years old, and we hunted, like we did a lot of tree stand hunting. That's why I was going to ask you how this whitetail hunt was, which I figured it was more Montana whitetail hunting.
Mm-hmm.
But I just be sitting there, and it's like, see something I might not be something I'm going to shoot. It might not even be a deer. And I'm like, what, like, why is my body freaking out right now?
Yeah.
And it's so funny. Uh, yeah, if it, like, I don't know how to describe that to someone who hasn't experienced it, but it's like you should.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's just a moment of like, I don't know if I mean, I feel like it has to be adrenaline,
Yeah.
right? Like it's just pure adrenaline, but like you're not doing anything physically. Like,
Yeah.
like you're staying. I mean, but like you're not doing anything physically that's pulling that adrenaline. So all your body has to do something with it, and it's shake.
It's so weird. It's so
Like,
funny.
and so it's I mean, I don't know how many, like I, so in the last, I did the math like the other day because I was talking to a buddy about it a little bit, and we were kind of giving each other a hard time about, like, we got together down in Colorado, and we were kind of giving each other a little bit of a hard time, like, how many elk you killed? How many elk you killed? And I'm not saying, like, there's a lot of guys out there that have killed way more elk than I've killed, obviously. But in the last 4 years, I was like thinking about it. I was like, I've helped kill as a guide, 20, it was 21 elk. I can tell you that every time one of those elk got, like, all 20 of those, I was shaking.
Mm-hmm.
Rifle, archery, I was shaking. None of them are like giant monster bulls. I was shaking. Like it's the weirdest thing, like, to think about. But like, it doesn't matter. I feel like it just doesn't matter how many times you do it. It's just that pure excitement, adrenaline, like this is about to happen. Like, and
Yeah.
Um, and it's like, for me, it's like, man, I almost get like, it's a gut feeling, and like literally like shivering,
Mm-hmm.
and everything. Like, I can still talk to you. I can still like go through with what's going on, but my body is like saying otherwise.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's the weirdest thing. I don't know what it is exactly. Like I said, I think it's adrenaline, but it's like, it's just pure excitement, pure joy, like pure joy just to be in that moment is all I can really like explain it as.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think it's what like kind of brings me back into that. Like that's why I want to just do it over and over. It's like, you're literally like, I feel like people kind of like joke when they say addicted to hunting, or like kind of just like use it as like I'm addicted to hunting, like, or like being addicted to fishing.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, you're literally like, I do think I am literally addicted to it.
And do you think you're addicted to that feeling?
I
Like
think it is.
that
Yeah.
adrenaline
I
feeling?
think it's exactly what it is. It's kind of like an adrenaline junkie, like
Mm-hmm.
somebody who just loves like roller coasters, bungee jumping, skydiving. I will never do any of that.
Mm-hmm.
I am not a fan of that. Roller coasters, maybe. Bungee jumping, skydiving, no thank you. But like putting myself in that kind of a position of like being that close to elk, or just about to like actually harvest something, or helping somebody else harvest something, like hunting, that is like, that's my fix. Like and it fixes so much stuff in like, in other ways of just like mentally takes you to a different place. You
Yeah.
forget a lot about like everyday stresses, and you're hunting. Like, you're just hunting.
I think that's the big, like, at least 50% of it is, for what it fixes, is you just like, you're so focused that you're not just, you know, lamenting about your petty problems that don't even matter.
Oh yeah. Yeah, absolutely. You're in the moment, and you're not thinking about just anything else other than exactly what you're doing right then and there.
Yeah.
It's very real. And it's just you and that animal, or, you and whoever you're hunting with, your hunting buddy, and that animal. And like nobody else is going to get to experience what you literally like. Everyone's going to experience something like that if they hunt. They will not get that experience exactly that you just had.
Yeah.
Like that's special to you.
Yeah. It's weird. It's like, oh, I'm with you.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
I'm going to ask you about hunting in Montana, but I got to pee already because I drank that beer. So
All right, you're good.
there's a weird, just like time. It's a timing thing, but I think you like learn it unconscious. It's kind of like baseball or anything else. It's just,
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think the thing that helps you do that is thing that's helped me do it is really trying to remember anything that I have heard about that person. Anything like that has been like said, or like if they mentioned it earlier and like if say conversation about whatever we're talking about stops, I go try to circle back to that and be like, oh, so you're from, do you do this?
yeah.
Or like just it's like, so I think the best way to like keep people talking and keep a good relation with somebody like in that aspect, so I do a lot with just clients, is like just continually asking them about like it's like play connect the dot.
Yeah. And it's funny because that's what I learned. Like the real reason and the place I learned a lot of this was driving people around.
Mm-hmm. Oh
Because
yeah,
it's
yeah.
like, hey, where'd you get in from?
Yeah.
And then they'll say like, oh, here, but I came from there.
Yeah.
Like you say, like if you just know one thing about where they flew from, and then it's like, but it's weird because this is really easy because I know you and I've known you for years and I know enough about you. But there's also something about when I know nothing about the person.
Oh gosh.
So I like see like I'll check out their website. This is where they're from, and there's something with them. I think they feel like because they don't know me, they almost feel a little bit freer. It's like, well, this guy, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like this, like this. If it's your friend, you're like, oh, my friend's gonna think I'm a fucking idiot if I say this. But if it's somebody random, you're like, I don't give a shit what this guy thinks. So there's something about that people will just like, I don't know.
Yeah, it makes sense. You kind of just a little like almost kind of try to get them into like a feeling non like understanding this is not a judgmental area.
Yeah, because I'm so indifferent. Like,
Yeah.
I'm genuinely interested because I don't know you. So
Yeah.
I'm actually like,
And I think that's what makes you so good at this. And just like in general, like I've always noticed, like talking to you, you're really, really good about just like being genuinely like curious.
mhm.
Like it. And that's what I think a lot of people lack is general curiosity. But what helps is if you're not general, like if you haven't always been generally curious about stuff, it's really hard to pick up as an adult unless you just start going out into the world and just doing all sorts of things. Because like one thing that's helped me the most relate to people is a little bit, and I'm talking it's this much traveling I've done. So now when somebody says they're from Boston, I'm like, oh, I went to Boston for a wedding last summer. Where are you from? And they'll say like, oh, I'm from such and such. I'm like, oh, I got no idea where that is, but I went to Bridgewater. What do you know about that?
Yeah.
Like kind of thing. And so it's like, it's kind of interesting.
This was literally me because I'm the exact same. But last week we were in Cape Cod and Amy's like, do you want to get goggles and go in the ocean? I'm like, yes.
Yeah.
And I'm like, just sitting there, like don't have a snorkel, but I'm just like under there for like 30, 45 minutes. And I'm like, how far is that? Like I am genuinely interested in everything because I never got off the farm. So it's
cool.
not hard for me to like not be interested because I'm like, there's a whole world out here.
Yeah. And I think there's two types of people. There's people who like, okay, I'm going to use your like not getting off the farm as kind of like a analogy for this. There's people who didn't get off the farm and didn't care to.
Mm-hmm.
And there's people who didn't get off the farm but want to. Like, and that's basically, it's like you're either very content with where you are and where you grew up and don't need anything new, or you don't mind where you grew up and you don't mind where you're from, but you know that there's more out there and you're that person.
Well, this is what happened because I think I was 18 and my sister went to MSU.
Uh-huh.
She's like, "Oh, you got to come check this place out." And that was my first time really traveling kind of as an adult
Really?
by myself. I guess you know what I did? Like, I did travel a little bit to Wyoming before that because I was dating a girl that went to school, went to University of Wyoming. But when I came out here, I was I gotta live there. I gotta go. Like, I'm gonna go work on oil rigs and go out there. And
Oh
I
yeah.
never did that, fortunately. But uh, like, I was just so drawn here. I'm like, there's
That's so
so
cool.
much to check out there. Back to where we were,
Okay.
guiding Montana. Do you do any guiding here? Can you? How's the like? What's the legal? Because I think I vaguely, to an extent, understand the fishing. There's got to be an outfitter
Hmm.
that you guide under. What's the logistics of that in Montana? And do you or can you guide here?
Yeah, so excuse me, sorry. I guide fly fishing trips here in Montana. I do have I've got my guide license for guiding fly fishing trips in Montana, and you have to have that. Um, but if you have a guide license, you still have to operate under an outfitter.
This is
So
for hunting too, or for fishing?
I believe I have not actually in the state of Montana. I have not looked that far into. I'm going to make an assumption that it is the exact same way. I'm pretty sure it is. Um, but you have to. So like as a fly fishing guide, I have my guide license. I operate under the outfitting license that Sage Lodge has.
Mm.
Um, now I could, if I wanted to, kind of do a little more like freelancey style guiding. I call it that because it's still not necessarily like, it's not just like if you had somebody you knew that wanted to book a trip with me tomorrow, just because I have a guide license, I like say I have a boat, say I have all that stuff, I cannot go out with that person and have them pay me tomorrow unless I call somebody I know who has an outfitting license and we run it through them.
So technically, they would pay them, and then he would pay you.
Yes. Yeah, that's kind of how that works is as far as as far as I'm aware. So like I don't have so there's a lot of guides here, especially like in the Bozeman area. I mean, there's thousands of fishing guides in the state of Montana. It's like kind of like
Yeah.
it's wild to think about. I mean, it's not wild to think about. It makes sense, but like um I got my guide license for the state of Montana last year. And I'm number 6,409.
Oh well.
Or wait, no. Sorry, I spoke incorrectly. I believe I am actually number sixty thousand
Oh,
four hundred
okay.
and nine guide. Like that's how many like as far as I'm aware, that's how many guides have like in the history of like the guide license like program, I guess, have been. So like there's people out there like you kind of know when a guide has like been around and he's been here for a long time if you look at his guide number.
Oh, so it's just counts. Like,
Yeah.
oh, that's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. So like there's guys who guide on the Madison who have like I mean, I think the lowest I've seen is maybe in the 2000s, but like like it's crazy to think about how long like those guys have been doing it and like you think like, oh man, this guy's kind of like, he's probably up there in his years and like, and then you go meet him and you're like, oh, you've only been doing this for like, maybe 10 years, 10 years. I mean, it's just not a short amount of time. That's a long time to guide, but that's not as old, like as long as you would think when there's 20,000 guides after him or something like that. My numbers might be a little bit off. I can't remember exactly like my number. I can I have my number kind of on the top of my head, but
Are
it's something you have to display when you're guiding. So like you have to have it visible. when you're
Are
guiding?
they any guides sensitive about that?
Oh yeah.
Because I'm laughing because I think I've had maybe like 5 different fishing guides on.
Yeah.
Maybe full time or part time, but I definitely would have asked them like, "What's your number?"
Oh yeah.
I would have asked them all.
Well, and so that's the funny part is like, so some of the other guys I guide with,
Mhm.
I've like, we've had the conversations like, dude, I saw this guy and his guide number was so low, like, and it's like, man, he must know what he's doing. Like he must
This
like
is so funny.
he's got tenure. Like he's like 100% just like he's the guy. And then it's like if your guide license is like really high, like mine was last year,
Mhm.
right? Somebody's gonna be like, "You're a newbie." Like, there's definitely like there is a little bit of that. Like, there's a culture like in the guiding
Yeah.
industry that's kind of like if you're a new guide, you like it shows a little bit, and people think, "Oh, you don't know what you're doing." Now, I guided for a handful of years in Colorado, fly fishing, and so it's like it's not that I'm a new guide. It's just that
Yeah.
I'm a new guide here.
Yeah,
Kind of.
my neighbor John, and he did the podcast quite a while back, but I think he owned a fly shop in Vale for 25 years,
Oh man, yeah,
and now he guides here.
yeah,
So who knows what his guide number is? But yeah,
yeah,
if he's been guiding for 30 plus years,
absolutely.
so there definitely be nuance, but that'd be really fun. Yeah, Jim from Yellow Dog Fly Fishing.
Hmm.
He was like my third or fourth podcast guest,
Yeah.
which was very cool of him. But I'd be so curious to know what his guide number is.
Oh
It's
yeah.
got to be.
I mean, how I guess yeah.
He's
He's
had
been fishing for. I mean, he's been guiding for a while now.
Yeah, because he said when he did the podcast, it was over a year ago, but he said that was 25 years for yellow dog fly fishing.
Yeah.
And then he was guiding before then.
Well, and so one of the things you do this is actually kind of funny. I bet. Yeah, I mean, I bet his numbers like pretty low, compared to like a lot of the people you see.
Yeah.
But we all kind of teased a buddy of ours, Sam, and Sam, he started this last year. He got his outfitter's license, so he was just like an independently contracted guide, so he could go like, and that's how that works is like you have to get your independent contractor's license as a guide, and like there's like a point system, and you have to have so many qualifications to get those points, and you have to get so many until you can be an independently contracted guide. Basically just saying like, okay, this guy's safe enough. He's got everything he needs to be a guide. He can kind of just go guide for whoever. But he still has to go through an outfitter. Sam was an independently contracted guide. And then this last year, he got his outfitting license. But when he got his outfitting license, he had to get a new number because as an outfitter, you get a new number.
Yep.
So when he got his new number, I mean, he jumped like a lot. So we all started teasing him a little bit about his
This
new
is so
guide
funny.
number because now it's so high.
Have you seen or watched any of the episodes of Black Mirror?
Dude, I haven't.
Yeah, I've only watched like 4 or 5, and I don't think I'll watch anymore because I think they're too depressing.
Ooh.
But they're just like these kind of crazy, like different scenarios where maybe technology's evolved and society's going crazy, but they have essentially a social credit score.
Mm-hmm.
And every interaction you have with the person, you rate them.
I've seen clips of this.
Yeah. So if like I like just put my phone up on you, it would like show you and show your score, and then I could rate you. And like the coffee barista, like I could rate that interaction. This is reminding me of that with your guide numbers.
It would be really funny if your guide number was just your rating, like how good of a guide are you, or like how good of reviews you get from people. That'd be kind of interesting.
And then to hunting, so you still you said you were guiding in Wyoming and you guide in Colorado.
Yeah. So I started guiding hunting trips in Colorado, in the area where I kind of grew up. And now it was kind of interesting because it was an area that like I did not grow up hunting there. I grew up hunting like probably 25, 30 miles like across the valley from there. So like when I first started guiding down there, like the first year I went down there, like I had to relearn like the whole area. Or I had to not relearn, but just learn the whole area. So like I
Hmm.
showed up. I was very like so gung ho about guiding. I showed up like a week early to the season and I hiked and I hiked and I hiked and I hiked and I put on miles and miles and miles before the first day. And then like, but like 2 days before, Jared goes, hop in the truck. I'm going to show you where we have most of our success. And it was like a lot of stuff I went and looked at it where I was like, oh, I'll probably like, this is where I'll go.
Hmm.
Was stuff that like he ended up showing me. He's like, yeah, go up in that area, go up in that. And I was like, perfect. I kind of know it. But then there was stuff that like I hiked and looked at, and he was like, people don't really, we don't really go that far. Like, not a big deal. So it was like, it was kind of this weird mixture of like, I was really happy I did it to get to know the area, but it was also like half of it was kind of like, I just by talking to Jared, I got, you know, gosh, like 30 years of hunting experience in that area,
Yeah.
just kind of like given to me on a silver platter. And it was like kind of really cool. And it was a little bit of a leg up just to be successful
And do you
as a
guide
guide.
under him essentially or no?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
he owns West Elk Outfitters.
Okay.
And I mean, he's such a, like, I could not ask for like somebody better to guide under, really. Like it's cool because it's kind of a funny little story because he's from that area as well. Actually, he is like, his family is like, I don't know exactly how many generations, but I know for a certain at least 3 generations in that area, if not 4 or 5. And they all are from that same area, kind of where I grew up. So like our families kind of knew each other. So that was kind of a little bit of like my in as far as like, hey, I want to guide elk hunts.
Hmm.
I knew him, he knew me. Like we got along really well. Our families knew each other. He was like, yeah, come on down and like guide for me. One of the really nice things about that is like a lot of places don't like, as I mean, places here and pretty much anywhere generally, if you don't already have some guiding experience, you're probably going to be put kind of on the bottom of the totem pole a little bit. And you might have to be like the camp guy
Yeah.
for a while. Like just, chopping firewood or like kind of just making sure camp's taken care of or, and just kind of shadowing guides and stuff like that, which is very fair. I think in a lot of cases, like you got to know the area, you got to know how things are run. And I think a lot of cases, like you kind of move past that phase pretty quick, depending on the outfitter and how strict they are about it. But so I was lucky in that case in where I kind of got to just like jump essentially like right into guiding elk hunting. And I had not necessarily I had not necessarily hunted archery elk for a long time
Hmm.
before that. Like it was
How old were you
probably
when you started?
when was that? I was I think I started when I was like 21.
Some guy comes out, he's like in his 40s or 50, and they're like, who's this kid that's going to take me hunting?
Exactly.
This
Dude,
is Huck
that's
Finn right here.
oh my gosh, dude, that's a whole nother story of like young guys getting into guiding at like that younger age. And I feel like there's more and more doing it now because why go beat yourself up and work doing something you don't like to do,
Yeah.
right? Um, there's reasons for that. But like I started guiding fly fishing um when I was 19, and I definitely had to like I had some moments like where I had some guys like in their like, late 40s, mid 50s who felt like, because I was 19, they knew better than I did.
Yeah.
But it's like when you as a guide, like the number one thing, especially where I guided, the number one thing was like your guest's safety, right? And that's just, I mean, in general, like you can't have someone coming out and just like forget about them just making it home alive, right? And I mean, I legitimately had to like pull over out to the side of the river and tell a guy like, if you don't want to listen to what I have to say when it comes down to your safety, because you just fell out of the boat doing something stupid.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like, we can just end this right now. Like, we're not going anywhere. And as a 19-year-old kid, having to say that to like, somebody who's 3 times your age almost,
Yeah,
it's
and
kind of
just pay
intimidating.
thousands of dollars for a fishing trip. And
Exactly. But that's the thing is like you kind of as a guide, like you're running you're running it.
I mean, yeah,
And
it's in the description guide.
yeah, like, and that's the thing is if some, you like as guides, like you definitely see people who come in and think they know better.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, try not to be that person. Like,
Yeah.
come in, understand that, like, I'm not saying you don't know anything, but also don't just assume because you show up and your guide has a baby face.
Mm-hmm.
Don't assume he doesn't know anything, because there's a good chance he grew up doing that. And just because like you've been doing it on and off for the last like 10 years, maybe he's been doing it every day for the last 15 years since he could, like, since the time he could. Right. So it's kind of like, I just think you can't just assume just because a guide is young. Don't assume he's like a newbie at this. Like, he's been doing it for a while. And I'm like, the respect for your guide is just a big thing. Like, so, um, yeah, I feel like I got a little
No, you
off
didn't.
track
And
there.
not to like to get into my Andrew Huberman neuroscience, but to a young guide, like your brain before you're 26 is so plastic. And like the reason kids learn things so fast and young adults
Mm-hmm.
is because we're just primed for it. So if you were doing that like like 25 and younger, like
Mm-hmm.
you're just so primed to learn. So
Oh yeah,
not that you can't keep learning as you're older, but you just have stubborn patterns and calluses and they're hard to
yeah,
break. But when you're young and you like grow up doing that kind of thing, it's like those are the people you want.
yeah,
Even if you can get over yourself for a few minutes and be like, look, this guy grew up here. It's like in his bloodlines for the last I don't know how many hundreds of years.
oh yeah, yeah, absolutely. I think like, I think that's so spot on. Like, as we like, if we guide when we're like that young, you just really like, I don't know, you take in everything.
Mm,
And it's just like, I feel like I did when I started guiding, and it just like, it made me kind of really understand like, I like how just things in work and people work too. Like, you just kind of like have to roll with it and know how to like deal with a lot of different people. And I think that's helped me a lot. But like, it was cool to start at like that. I mean, even just starting when I was like 21, I kind of felt like, I don't know, it was weird because in some ways, like when I talked to like Jared, I'm sure Jared was, I think he was probably guiding people when he was like 14,
mm-hmm.
15 years old, and like taking him out to a tree stand to hunt elk, and like, but he knew the woods like the back of his hand, and more so than just the woods, he knew elk, like, and he, like, I think when he was in his like later teens, like 18, 19, I think, was like, I don't want to speak too much for Jared. Like, it would be super cool to get Jared in here
Yeah, get
to
him up
tell
here.
some stories.
Yeah.
I need to get him in here.
Does he ever come out to Bozeman or no?
Oh, well, for my wedding
Oh
next
hell yeah.
summer, he better be here. I'm gonna tell him to show up a day early and come do a
Yeah.
podcast with you.
Yeah, and congratulations to that. We can
Thank you.
bring that up later, but go on.
Yeah. So but I think he at a young age worked on an elk farm.
Okay.
So when it comes down to like archery hunting and calling and understanding elk behavior, he knows it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so cool to watch him in action, like calling stuff. It's very different than a lot of the stuff you see on, Primos, on like even just a lot of the YouTube stuff you see nowadays, where, um, people have these like big bugles and nice sweet cow calls and stuff like that. And then it's like, you go watch Jared, like listen to him call. And like, honestly, if you like, sometimes like you watch him do it and you're like, that's not what I like imagined you were going to do. And all of a sudden it's like these elk are just like coming in like on a rope. And then you're kind of like, man, how'd that work? And then you step off into you could go step off in the bushes and then listen to them do it. And you're like, oh, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Or just listen to them talk about it. You're like, everything you're doing makes sense. But he like that, like kind of the point of that is like, he did that at a young age and he understands it like better than, just about anybody I know. And so it was really cool for me to go into it at a young age, youngish age, um, and have like somebody like that to really just teach me super fast on like, hey, this is kind of some stuff like, oh, you had that scenario and like something didn't quite pan out. Try this. Or like just to bounce stuff off of him and like talk to him about it has been like the best. It's like one of my favorite parts about going and guiding down there is because like he doesn't guide as much anymore. He still gets out there like if we don't have enough guides and somebody else wants to do an elk hunt or something like that, he'll get out there too. But he like some of my favorite moments of just going, I go to Colorado for a couple months and I guide and I'm staying there. And some of my favorite moments are like the late night kind of just like conversations about like, dude, this happened. And all of a sudden, like this bull made this sound. And I was like, what is that? And then like Jared comes up and he's like, oh yeah, no, I've definitely heard him do that before. And it's just such a weird thing. But if you like do this back to him, it's like a light switch or like something like that. And it's just like, those conversations are the coolest. And those are my favorite. But being able to learn from him at that young age was like super, super cool.
Yeah. This guy's like one with the elk.
Yeah, very much so. He has seen his fair share of elk for sure.
So are you still gonna go? Are you gonna go down this year?
Yeah, so I'll be down there. I won't be down there for archery season this year. I will be archery season. I'm gonna be in New Mexico for the first week with my buddy Tyler. He drew a New Mexico tag, and it's kind of he's a buddy to the point of like if one of us draws the tag, we both drew the tag.
Mm-hmm. And that's an elk tag.
That's an elk tag. And so that's gonna be a lot of fun. I'm gonna go do that for like the first week of September, and then I will be back to Wyoming for kind of the last part of September. And then back here for kind of like the end of archery, and then I will be guiding in Colorado this year a little bit less and I'll be guiding kind of in general a little bit less this year than I have been, just because I drew a tag in Colorado for a rifle, which is just kind of not necessarily a crazy good tag, but it's going to be one that like I will be very surprised if I don't kill a bull, and that'll be cutting my teeth on my first bull, hopefully. I've never killed a bull.
Oh, really?
I've never.
I was going to ask you.
This is funny.
Yeah.
And that's usually kind of the reaction I feel like I get.
You've killed cows, I'm guessing.
I've killed 2 cows.
Okay.
In my life, and one was when I was 12, and one was when I was 13.
Oh wow.
I have not killed an elk in the last 14 years personally. And it's not necessarily for lack of trying, but it's more for lack of just like not having as much time to hunt myself. I've definitely done just a lot more guiding. And like there was definitely years like when I was in high school that I didn't really elk hunt a lot. And I didn't really get back into it till like college.
Yep.
So that's something I'm kind of like, this is the year I'm gonna do it. I actually have like 3 elk tags in my pocket, and I'm like, I don't know if I have enough freezer space for that, but we're gonna figure it out.
I mean, if you think of the contrast, you said 21 that you've been a part of guiding to 2. So
yeah,
like the odds are in your favor. You're like you've paid your dues.
I feel like it. Sometimes I feel like it, but that's the thing though, is like I've always said this, like I enjoy going out with somebody else and seeing them shoot something just as much as I probably would enjoy shooting it myself.
Yeah. There's sometimes like it sounds like kind of like bullshit, but there is something to that where it's like when you do something nice for somebody,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like, I've selfishly, this feels so good for me.
Oh yeah,
Like
yeah, for
it's
sure.
like when you see somebody have that moment, you're like, hell yeah, I made that happen.
Yeah,
But
absolutely. I did a little like one of my favorite ones from this last year was we had this group come out. I think they'd come out before, but there was a no, they hadn't. They were new this year. But the father and son that I was guiding when we were there, um, it would have been okay. No, the father had come out before. Son, it was his first year out, and it was like first rifle season in Colorado, and I was like, it's always my favorite when it's like somebody's first because I'm like, you're gonna love this. Like my like goal is at the end of this to hear you say like not just for like I don't honestly like if you come back to us specifically to be guided, cool,
mhm,
cherry on top. But I want to hear you say at the end of this, I'm elk hunting again next year.
yeah,
And like, especially if that was your first time hunting, just like kind of in general, like that's even cooler. Um, I want to like, it's cool to get somebody kind of like hooked on it because it's like you understand, I understand the excitement you just felt. And now I understand the feelings that you're having. And so it's like you have this relation with that person. And now, so like that guy came out and I had kind of set a little bit of a goal where like during first rifle season, typically we have a little too much snow to kind of go up into this like higher country. Or we have like some drop camps of like DIY hunters up there that we kind of try to like leave them some area to hunt. But we didn't have either of those really this last year. And I was like, dude, I just want to shoot a bull in rifle season in the Aspens. And, you know, Colorado's got plenty of them.
hmm
But like a lot of the stuff we hunt down there, like come rifle season, a lot of those elk kind of move down into this like oak brush, kind of juniper, kind of cactusy land. But I just had this vision in my head. I was like, I think like I know we can, but I want
you
to
were
shoot a
thinking of a
bull.
photo. You were like photographer.
Oh, dude, I mean,
It's gotta be in the
I
Aspen.
had, yeah, probably. I just had this image in my head. I was like seeing a bull in the Aspens, getting set up, shooting him, like, and it ended up being one of the coolest spots and like coolest hunts ever because like it happened really fast and we were walking up this trail and we crested, and they were both right behind me and we crested this hill. And like as soon as my head came up over it, and I was thinking as I was coming up on it, I was thinking, I was like, I've seen elk here before. And I didn't like our goal was actually like the top of the ridge, but I knew there was this little meadow here. And I'm like, there's a pond in the trees to our right that the first bull I ever guided somebody to was like right in there. And I was like, I've definitely seen elk like just live on the side of this like hillside through these trees. And I was like, I've definitely seen them in this meadow before. So I slowed down like and started taking just slightly slower steps. They were catching up to me a little bit. And as soon as my head like just crested like the flat kind of plateau of that meadow, I see just a big blonde body. And I'm like, I drop and like kind of immediately like take a step back and like drop my head and turn around. I whisper to the guy, I'm like, there's elk right here. I'm like, get your tripod off your bag. He's not even 100 yards. Or he ended up being like right at. And he gets his tripod, or his dad kind of helped pull his tripod off his bag real slow. And we get it set up and he gets set on it. And that bull, like I'm looking because I'm like, at first I'm like, first of all, make sure it's a legal bull. Okay. I look, I see like antlers coming up with its head down, and I'm like, it's legal for sure. I see like a little whale tail on the back end of it, and I'm like, okay, right behind his shoulder, breathe, shoot, and he shoots. Here, like thump that bull. He kind of runs up in the trees, and like it was like right first thing in the morning. Like it was
Mhm.
like we literally like first probably like 10 minutes, 10, 15 minutes of shooting light. And so like just everything about it was super cool. And I visually, I can literally put myself there, and it's this like frost on the grass. There's a big aspen stand literally right behind this bull. Bull runs into the aspens and goes up there and ends up dying. And like, it was just this most picture perfect, like exactly what I had like thought up in my head. And that guy was like, I think he was probably like 20, like, but you know, he was so excited, and like it to see kind of every, like all the, just like the joy on his face of like killing this elk, and like also seeing it in such like a pretty backdrop. I was like, this is like, this is top, like one of the top 5 like moments of guiding so
Mm-hmm.
far. And it's because it's like this guy's first. He's like so stoked. And like to have your, if my first bull was in that moment right there, in that pretty of a place, in the aspens, bright gold leaves like over top of you, I could die happy.
Yeah. Well, you better shoot one this
I
fall.
know, I got to try. I'm hunting the same kind of, I'm hunting the same unit, and I'm hunting the same time. So might go for that one. Go for
Well,
gold.
whenever you want to take me out too, I'm still waiting for my first elk.
Well, you know what? If you would
It's
start
me.
taking up your
Yeah,
tags,
yeah. I mean, I kind of want the nostalgia of my first elk to be archery because my first whitetail was, and I've also got a 3006 that my uncle gave me that passed away. So I'm like,
oh
I want to kill an elk with that,
yeah,
and I also want my first elk to be with archery. So I've got multiple elk I need to kill.
oh yeah, you gotta kill some elk.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe next time you draw a really good tag for the second time in a row,
Well, it
maybe
won't
we
be this
go.
year because I didn't even apply for it. So I'll
Oh,
definitely
okay,
hit it next year.
next year for sure. You'll
Yeah.
definitely get it.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, I think that's, they say I don't know what culture, where the saying comes from, but they say if something happens once, it could happen again. But if it happens 2 times, it'll definitely happen a third time.
That's crazy.
That's sort of the, like, supposed to say it. It's supposed to be like anything good or bad. So
Yeah.
I don't know how much truth there is to it,
Things,
but
it's kind of like the like
yeah.
things come in threes,
Yeah. Yeah.
kind of idea.
Something like that.
Yeah, that's kind of, I like to think, I like that kind of like as a positive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For drawing great tags.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
For drawing elk tags, that's phenomenal.
Yeah.
Maybe
If
that'll happen.
if people looked up uh like your outfitter West Elk,
Yeah.
where is there any availability for this year?
There, I believe so. Actually, yeah, just recently, I think I shared a post that Jared put up. That I think we have some more archery availability
Okay.
right now. Yeah, for sure. And we, I mean, archery down there is, I mean, it's fun. It's a blast.
Mhm.
It's definitely, it's kind of one of those areas that like the public land can be a little crowded, but we find success kind of anyways.
Mhm.
I mean, all the guiding I've done down there has been like strictly public land.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I
Like,
see. I just assumed this was some giant private ranch.
no. And that's what's been like, that's kind of the cool part about it is, it's been pretty much all public land. This last year, I did get to take some guys on some public land or some private land, but it was like, it was a really small piece of private land. And I actually ended up having to still call the bulls off of the other private
Oh,
land
that's
onto our private land. So it
mhm.
was kind of like, but, yeah, you definitely, I mean, you're dealing with people, but we actually did, um, end up, acquiring some private land, lease wise. That is great. It gives us some really good access to like, there's definitely been some areas where we hunted it, and it's like if the elk kept going, like if the elk keeps going and it like gets across that line, we got to stop. Right
Mhm.
now, if the elk goes across that line, we can keep going.
Oh, nice.
Like kind of situations like that. And then, but also some like bigger pieces of property that we'll have kind of some exclusive access to for the most part. But
If one of my, random friends from the Northeast or anyone anywhere listening to this and they haven't, let's say they either, I guess these are two pretty, if they've never hunted before or if they've never elk hunted before, like how would they, like, how do you think they'd think about that? And maybe that's hard to answer because you've been out here doing it your whole life. But like, do you say like definitely go with the guide, try to cowboy it on your own?
I definitely think going with a guide is a good plan for at least your first one or two.
Mm-hmm.
Now if you're the kind of person who you just like you want to do it yourself or you can't afford to get a guide,
Yeah.
um, which happens a lot, and it's just like do the research, like do a lot of research, get yourself in shape. I mean, and don't like you can't do the research like a month ahead of time. I'm not saying like it's not impossible. However, you're going to find a lot more luck if you go with a guide your first time and let them teach you a little bit. And that's one of the things that I kind of do as a guide is I prefer to when somebody comes hunting with me, I might actually like I've almost annoyed a client because he didn't necessarily care to learn like every little bit about it, which I was
Uh-huh.
kind of like, but um I I will teach you every little thing that I know because I think that like everybody should know this. I would love it. And I've had this happen actually already. I would love it if you came hunting with me on a guided trip, and the next year you were capable of going out yourself into maybe a little different area. Maybe don't come back to the exact same spot because we make a living there.
Mm-hmm.
But go to if you came back to a different area, but you did the research and you go out and you elk hunt and you're successful, I would love to see it. And this last year I did. We had a couple guys, not this last fall, but the fall before. They came out and this was super cool. They had been shooting their bows for about a year, which is kind of a good, like, you should shoot your bow for at least a year before you come out west and try to kill an elk.
I think that's probably a great rule of thumb.
For most animals in general, just be very confident. And
Yeah.
like they showed up and they were the funniest guys from the East Coast. They were like just super, super goofy, super easy to get along with though. And I was talking to them and, kind of, I like to gauge, like, okay, well, how comfortable, like how far out are you comfortable shooting if you've just been shooting for a year? And they were both like, oh man, like 40 yards, 40 yards max, like 50, probably not. And they were like, and 40, like it's probably going to be a pretty like perfect scenario. And so we start hunting and I'm like, okay, well, like that definitely like, makes it a little tougher. Like if you got somebody who can shoot 50, 60 yards confidently, like you can typically have a little better success.
Mm-hmm.
But like making sure everything's within 40 yards, which a lot of times is like you can still manage that. But like it just makes it a little bit tougher. So I was like, okay, we'll see how this goes. And we start hunting and like we had a day of like the first morning. I hiked their butts off into this like hellhole of like fallen timber, and like we had to climb back out of it. And like we chased a bull around for a little bit. They got to hear a bull bugle, and like we got kind of close a couple times. And they actually they shot at a cow and missed. It was kind of a crazy, weird kind of angle shot. And we weren't really sure why the miss happened. I think it ended up maybe being a little bit of a bow malfunction. We ended up getting fixed. We went back to camp, we shot. They were good. Bows were good. We went back out. And
Do you know how far that shot was?
it wasn't very far.
Mm.
It was like, yeah, it wasn't very far. It was maybe like 25 yards or something like that. And but it was like, super steep angle, and just wasn't like super easy. And they were game. Like they were like, we'll shoot a cow. Like we want to kill an elk. We want to go
Mhm.
home with something. Um, so, and they kind of had, they understood, like it was just so cool. Cause like they understood like elk hunting is not like just a walk in the park. You come archery elk hunting. Like if you spend the money to come out west and hunt elk with your bow for your first time, definitely should consider shooting a cow.
Yeah.
Like definitely should consider it, unless you just absolutely are like dead set on like only a bull. Um,
I hope my friend listens to this who didn't shoot a cow when we were hunting here his first time out here.
oh really?
And then he shot a bull in Colorado a few weeks later.
Oh, that's well. I
But
mean, yeah,
still,
yeah. I
I
mean,
was
if you
like,
got
dude,
time,
come on.
shoot a
I
cow.
would have taken that
Yeah,
thing all day.
absolutely. Well, it's funny because I'm a little bit of a hypocrite,
Yeah.
but
Maybe I wouldn't have, but I think I would have.
well, we're kind of spoiled in Montana in the fact that we can get a general tag,
Hmm.
hunt archery, and know that we still have a rifle
Yeah.
to hunt. Like in Colorado, like your season is your season.
One tag.
If you get an archery tag, you get to hunt archery.
Hmm.
Now, unless you get like a B tag for a cow somewhere, but in Montana, like, you can hunt archery and you can kind of know, okay, I'm just going to shoot a bull in archery. I'm not going to shoot a cow because, oh, well, I can easily just go shoot a cow with my rifle and,
Yeah.
later in the year. And then you kind of keep convincing yourself that, oh, well, I can shoot a cow later. I can shoot a cow later. And then there's shoulder season. And then you don't end up shooting anything. And then you're kind of like, well, there goes that. So I'm guilty of that a little bit too. But they shot at this cow and they were great. We end up like the next day going up towards this one like pond. I had hunted kind of on and off, and like I'd never really like gotten into elk right around it, but I'm like, man, I just like I know they use this area and there's a certain time that they do. And we made our way up there and I make one cow call when like we walked. It was kind of a dumb move on my part. It ended up working out great, but like nothing was responding all morning long to calls, and it was, or I say all morning, it was kind of like mid afternoon. Nothing was responding at all on our whole way up there, and we walk into this pond's like in the middle of this like kind of thinned out aspens, like around the edges of it, they're a little thicker. But then right around the pond, it's like almost like manicured grass, like around the pond. And then there's a few aspens and a couple like down logs and stuff. And on the other side of the pond of where we walked up and over and like kind of into it, the other side, there's a hill that kind of goes up and then like crests. And it's not super high up, but we walk out into it and like I'm not hearing anything. And I'm kind of, I'm kind of like walking along and I'm like not hearing anything. Like I walk like right out in the middle of all this like manicured, almost wide open stuff. And they kind of walk out there with me, and I have one of them standing to my left. The other guy kind of stopped like 10, 15 yards behind me, kind of just back. And he ended up uh I end up making a couple cow calls while we're sitting there. I'm trying to just like see if something will respond. And all of a sudden we hear a stick break. And I look up and I see antlers in the trees at the top of that hill. And we cannot move. Like we are in the wide open. My best suggestion at that, or my best thought at that moment was, I'm going to crouch down and try to look like a stump. Like that's the only thing I can think of. I crouch down. I like get like they both see it, and I stop calling completely because I'm like, it can see everything down here. This bull like ended up like kind of making his way around, raked a little tree at the top of the hill, and just like made his way right down the hill. And he's like kind of coming straight down. He's looking as he's going, and it's like this bull does not see an elk. Like, why is he like, it was just kind of one of those moments where you're like, why is this happening the way it's happening? And it's like that. It was just that. I think it was just that bull's day. But he ends up kind of cutting across at an angle, and I'm standing, and the guy who's like right to my left, I'm mostly talking to him because I didn't really like, I thought the other guy was like so far back, like it wasn't even going to be an option for him. I realized we're kind of in a line as this bull comes across at an angle, and I'm ranging this bull, ranging him, range a couple trees, and I'm like whispering to the guy, I'm like, okay, when he gets to that tree, he's going to be at 50. And he like looks at me, he's like, okay. And I didn't know what that meant.
Mhm.
I was like, is that okay? I'm going to shoot him or not? And all of a sudden, like, I tell him, like, if you're going to shoot, like, I was like, draw when he gets his, like, when he turns his head. And that bull starts to step out, and it's like 52. And he draws. That bull turns his head, he draws. What I didn't know was the guy behind me was already drawn,
Oh, really?
and he ranged it, and it was like the same distance from him as it was the guy to my left. And all of a sudden, I just see from where I did not expect a arrow, and arrow hits that bull. The bull kind of jumps, and the other guy shoots because we didn't know if it like hit, but
Yeah.
he was like, okay, well, in kind of an insurance, um, and and we ended up like that bull runs to the top of the hill. We see it tip over and die, and like it was great. We were so excited, like hugging each other. Like this was awesome. They were just so much fun to hunt with. But kind of like long story short, it was really funny because both of their arrows hit literally this far apart,
Oh, that's
like
that is.
an inch apart, and it was like perfect. Like you could not ask for a better shot.
Mhm.
So I was like, for the two guys who were like didn't necessarily feel like they were shooting that well
Mhm.
to do that, it was super cool. But then kind of
This
long.
sounds like a TV show. Like you should have a film crew there.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It would have been so much fun. Like to have that whole thing on film would have been crazy.
Yeah.
But it ended up being that those two guys who this last year messaged me and they were like, "Hey, we're coming out during rifle season, but we're kind of hunting an area on our own." And they asked me just a couple questions of like, "Hey, like, what do we need to bring, like this or that?" And I was like, "That's great. I love that they're trying it on there." They went out for like three or 4 days, killed a bull.
Hell yeah.
I was like, the fact, like, and they had never elk hunted before they came out with me.
Like their false sense of confidence now is through the roof.
I know they were like, yeah, they were like just on cloud nine.
Yeah.
But yeah, and they like, um, yeah, so it was just cool to like see them kind of like learn and be able to kind of go put it to use themselves.
I'd be all about that because it's almost annoying to where I have to try to stop myself sometimes because I really want to understand the way things work.
Mm-hmm.
But for me it's so helpful. So
Oh,
I would appreciate that if the guide was like explaining to me all the details.
yeah, I think it's part of the like experience you're really paying for
Yeah.
is like not just to be like shown, okay, here's an elk, shoot it, like, let's go. It's like, okay, this is what we're going to do. We're going to go up this mountain. I'm going to do this. We're going to hear a bull bugle. We're going to get close. I'm going to do this because if I make this sound, that bull's going to do such and such and like want to come in. And then you're going to be there because like I'm a big believer in because.
Yeah.
Like,
I'd be like I'm the why. I'm like the kid asking why. It's like why? It's like
Yeah.
so
be perfect.
yeah.
We just got to go hunt.
I know. I haven't even gotten a license this year. Is there a see? Because you keep saying tags, and we always said tags where I grew up, and I feel like everyone says license here. I'm like, why is there like a vocabulary discrepancy there? Everyone's like, did you get your elk license or did you get elk tags? I don't like know if it's just something from the east and the west, but
I've always kind of known them as, I feel like I've always known them as tags.
yeah,
Because
I hear everyone here, at least in Montana, say, "Did you get your license?" And I'm like,
interesting. I wonder if it's just because they like call it like a general license.
yeah,
So you can generally you can hunt elk now.
yeah,
But I don't know. I've always thought of it as it's a tag because like, I mean, in Colorado, like you have to physically tag the animal when you put it on it. Now everything's electronic now.
yeah.
And so you can just punch your license on your phone and then it's tagged.
Yeah, I was at like Fish and Wildlife, and like, you got your license. I'm like, okay, what about my tag? And they're like, this is your license. I'm like, yeah, I know, like that's a hunting license. Where's the tag? And they're like,
Yeah.
that's your tag. And I'm like, what's going on here? What am I missing?
Yeah.
So,
It's kind of a funny little, just probably like, I don't know, like cultural vocabulary.
yeah.
I don't know. It's kind of interesting.
What else should anyone know about you, man? You're getting married next summer.
Yeah, getting married next summer in June. It's about a year a little under a year out. Super excited about it. I do, man. Um, yeah, just super excited about that. I mean, in general, I'm kind of at a place where I'm, trying to, you know, work at being, more like busier in the things that I love to do.
Oh,
And that being said, that includes like, my photography business, um, which is it's pretty simple, just Anders shot photography.
yeah.
And it's not just photography. Like I said, I like to do the videography as well. Um, and really where I want to kind of grow in that is in the marketing of businesses.
Hmm.
So, if there's businesses out there, that, need photos that, they can use for their website, or just photos that they need for like just kind of general, like along the way advertising,
Yeah.
on social media and stuff like that. That's who I want to help. Your podcast is big on building businesses.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, this business helps other businesses grow,
Yeah.
and it's phenomenal. And that's another, like, that's something that I want to do, is help other businesses grow, and in turn they're helping me grow,
Yeah.
right? And not just as a business but also as a person. But the more I do for people, the more, like, for businesses, like in that aspect, the more, I can grow as a photographer, and just venture out, meet new people, do new things. And like, as much as I really kind of like, my head as a hunter, as a fly fishing guide, as a fisherman, just in general, my head is like definitely pretty like focused around like the hunting and fly fishing industry.
Hmm.
But I am like super willing and open to shooting stuff for other businesses like outside of that industry. I mean, take Bozeman Radon, for example.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, that has nothing to do with hunting and nothing to do with fishing.
Shout out to Jeff.
Shout out to Jeff. Love Jeff. So like doing some stuff for Jeff, like that was fun.
One of the greatest catchers in Montana men's league.
By far, definitely. Wait, don't tell Juan I said
Yeah.
that,
Or Malvin.
or Malvin, or yeah.
Anyway, shout out to Jeff.
Anyway, shout out to Jeff.
Continue.
But yeah, no. So I mean, I'm super like, if you're a business out there and you like need just content, like that's what I do. And it's not just about like just advertising, but it's about building a brand.
Yeah.
It's about understanding, like helping people understand what your business is about, and not just like what you do, why you do it.
Yeah.
Show the little parts of it, that like really kind of emphasizes like your relationship, not just like your relationship with the community. Like, as a business, you need to be able to show like you're real people. You really do this, and you do it like well. And here's some of the stuff we do to do it well. Or we make this product. This is why we make this product. This is like some features of the product. And this is why we made these features, and show that stuff off, like show the in-depth, and even show the behind the scenes of like it being made or something like that. Like, it's just, the more you can show, the more open you are, I think, to the public, the more accepting they are to like whatever kind of services or products you like bring to the table.
Yeah. And if you highlight it and showcase it, when my fiance does brands and websites, that's a big thing that she'll tell people, is like, you should really do a brand photo shoot. Like,
Yeah.
showcase this, because she needs that to build this. Like, she can't showcase what you're doing if you're using stock photos.
Yeah.
It's not like, yeah, like I never thought about it, but like it makes me cringe now. It's like, no, you want it to be like your people, your stuff. Like, yeah, show it off.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're in a very obviously, like it's not like we're just getting into it, but we are in a digital age.
Yeah.
Like, there's so much on social media, like, that is advertising. Like, it's exposure. wherever you can put that. But it's like, don't just, I mean, putting something, like putting anything is something, but like having good content that, like we were talking about earlier, has feelings to it, grabs somebody's attention and makes them just kind of go, that's cool. That's what really helps build a brand, I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah, I agree. Sick,
Yeah.
man. Well, I'm pumped for that image to come out in that scout guide.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be fun. It's
I'm
gonna be
gonna
really cool.
yeah, I'll tag in that when you share more of the videography you got. We'll tag in that too.
Awesome.
I'll put your
Great.
your Instagram handle in there. Is that the best way for people to find you?
Yeah. Yeah, both one's kind of a little more tailored towards hunting and fishing and kind of more of my like marketing stuff, which is just Anders Shop.
Yeah.
And then Anders Shop Photography. I do also do a lot of like engagement shoots, family photos, proposals and stuff like that. And I do enjoy doing that kind of stuff as well. I do a lot of that actually over at the lodge. But
Oh, right on.
so yeah, either one.
Sweet, man. Well, we didn't even talk about baseball, but this was fun.
Yeah, maybe we'll have to do that again sometime.
Yeah. Well, sick, man. Appreciate
Absolutely.
you.
Thanks.
Thanks for listening, folks. You can find the full blog post for every episode along with key takeaways and links at mountain-mule.com. If you haven't yet, consider following the show. That one small action helps these Montana businesses get seen, grow, and thrive, and it helps this podcast keep going too. If you know a business that would be a good fit for the show, we'd love to hear from you. Just reach out through the website or social. Thank you for supporting these Montana businesses. See you on the next show.